You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, smarter than you think, and twice as beautiful as you've ever imagined. Cancer is so limited. It cannot cripple love, shatter hope, corrode faith, destroy peace, kill friendship, suppress memories, and silence courage. It cannot invade the soul. It cannot steal eternal life. When Bridget was diagnosed with cancer, she had no idea about the painful, torturous journey that was unfolding before her. This is Bridget's story, a story of true friendships, a story of faith. My name is Yvonne Kalahi, and this is Cancer Diaries. Bridget, a beautiful young woman leading a perfectly happy, normal life. With a full-time job, she still found time to put her fashion design talent to use. The future was looking bright and prosperous. Come 2015, and her body started sending out painful signals. Pain that was foreign to Bridget, the first step to a long, painful journey.
My name is Bridget. I'm born again. I love the Lord so much. I started falling sick in 2015. I had a lot of complication in my abdomen, and I was feeling a lot of pain in my lower abdomen, and my menses were heavy. And at some time, I assume, any other person, any other ladies outside there who can only assume that it's just normal.
Bridget did not think too much about her heavy menstrual periods, but as the pain got worse and the monthly periods got heavier, she knew it was time to seek medical assistance.
I went to Guru Nanak for just a normal checkup because I realized there was something wrong with me, but I didn't pinpoint exactly what I was ailing from. When I went to see my doctor, the doctor said that we should do an ultrasound, which we did. After doing the ultrasound, it showed that I had a cyst and a mass. But the doctor, after now the ultrasound, the doctor recommended that we should do a surgery. They removed the cyst.
The first surgery was done to remove an ovarian cyst, but as it turned out, it was not the source of Bridget's excruciating abdominal pain.
But after some time, the pain persisted. We thought it was ovarian cyst, but we were not. We were wrong. It wasn't ovarian cyst.
With the persistent pain, Bridget's doctor put her on painkillers and antibiotics, which she took for a period of 2 months. But the pain just wouldn't go away. Bridget began getting very scared.
It's when we realized that this pain is not, I'm not getting any better. So I decided to go for another opinion. I went to 3 different doctors, of which they also recommended, antibiotics and painkillers too. I was scared because I didn't know exactly what I was suffering from, but inside me I knew there was something wrong. I remember one doctor was asking me to go for fertility test, and I asked that doctor, I'm not interested in knowing my fertility. The only thing that I'm interested in right now is to know the source of this pain.
Not able to contain the pain any longer, Bridget reached out to her brother and told him what was happening.
There was a day when I told my brother, I went to another doctor, but it seems like we are not getting anywhere. My brother asked, is it cancer? But it didn't even ring my mind that I had cancer.
Not wanting to believe what her brother had said, with tears in her eyes, and her insurance running out, Bridget went out in search of yet another doctor.
I told doctor, I'm frustrated. Mimi, as in, it's like nimefika mwisho. I want your assistance. And he listened to me and he told me, Bridget, we are going to get solution out of it. Do not worry anymore. So he recommended MRI. After that MRI, it's when the MRI showed that there is a mass at my urethra, and now he said since where the mass was it's not because by then I was seeing a gyna, and he recommended me to go and see a urologist, because now that is the line of the urologist.
Bridget was referred to a urologist, where a second MRI was carried out with the same results. Another second surgery was carried out to remove the mass and carry out a biopsy on the mass.
We went to Mater Hospital and I was operated. After the operation, now I was told to go and to go home for 2 weeks and then come back and see the doctor. So after 2 weeks is when we went there, and I was told now I need to give a consent for my biopsy to be taken for further analysis, either to be taken to Nairobi Hospital or South Africa for further tests. It's when now I started sensing that there's something wrong.
Bridget was now worried. What will the results reveal? Her once very organized life was thrown into turmoil and uncertainty.
At that time, I was feeling nervous. I didn't know what is happening in my life, but I knew there was something major that is coming. Because I remember there was a time I prayed and I asked God intervene. And I remember very early in the morning when I was praying and meditating and listening to God, I heard a voice telling me, whatever the report the doctor will give you, do not be afraid, because this sickness will not lead to death, but it will glorify me.
With the assurance of God and her faith in Him, Bridget, accompanied by her sister, went for her biopsy results.
My sister came with a report, and we went to see the doctor now, and the doctor looked at those reports and he said, I wish it was not true. And I asked the doctor what. Before even he talked, I asked, is it cancer? And he nodded. He just looked at me and nodded. And I asked the doctor. By then, my sister was really crying, but I didn't shed any tear. So I asked the doctor, what is the way forward? Is it treatable? Which type of cancer? He said, cancer of the urethra. And I was wondering, where is urethra? Because I didn't know where urethra was. So I asked the doctor, what is urethra? He said urethra is between the bladder and the vagina. And I asked the doctor, what caused the cancer of the urethra? He said, at the moment we can't pinpoint what is the cause, but it's normally caused by bilharzia, it's caused by maybe lifestyle, but at this moment we cannot be able to pinpoint. So I asked the doctor, is it treatable? He told me, Bridget, we are not going to talk about treatment right now, because treatment is even worse than the disease itself. Just go and relax first, and then after 1 week you come and see me. We are going to discuss about the treatment. So we woke up with my sister and I told the doctor I will come back with a testimony.
The results were out. Bridget had been diagnosed with urethral cancer.
I was devastated. I didn't know what to do. I just cried the whole night. When the doctor was breaking the news, I was brave at that time, but when I came back to the house, it's when now the reality now sank on me, and I knew it's okay. I have some few days or few months to live. I started crying. I didn't know who to tell, who to share my story with.
A week later, Bridget went back to her doctor for the treatment plan. A treatment plan that shocked Bridget.
We sat down with the doctor. He told us about the treatment plan. The treatment plan was to remove the urethra, bladder, and part of my vagina, and then use part of my intestine to create to create an opening where I can be releasing my urine for the rest of my life. When I heard about the news now, I became more depressed than even the cancer itself, because now I was imagining my life without those organs. How am I going to live? The quality of my life is going to be compromised. So I didn't know what to do. So I came back devastated. I was so much frustrated. I used to cry. I just when I talked to people, I was okay. But when I went back to my bedroom, I could cry and ask God, why have you forgotten me, God? And I remember the time when I was diagnosed with cancer, I was in prayer and fasting. I was praying and prayer and fasting. After that, instead of even getting a report from, maybe a good report from God, this is what I was being subjected to. I thought, God, you have forgotten me. I didn't share it with anybody for a period of 1 month. I was in denial. I didn't know even how to break the news to my employer, because I didn't know the consequences. Maybe I will lose my job.
The bright lights in Bridget's life dimmed. She was in complete denial of the fact that she was seriously ill. Her world was quickly falling apart.
And then one day I just decided to share it further with one of my colleagues. I called that colleague of mine and I told him, I have sad news. And when she came, I told my colleague that doctor said that I'm not going to, because I was in denial. I didn't want to share it. I said, doctor said I'm not going to have babies anymore. But that colleague asked, are you sure? Are you telling me the truth? Is that the reason why you are depressed? That is not something to make you depressed. Just tell me the truth. I can see there's something you're hiding it from me.
Bridget took the first step towards healing. She accepted her health status and shared the devastating news with her friends.
Hi guys.
Hey,
thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I don't know where to start. I have sad news. I've been diagnosed with cancer.
The Diaries continues shortly. Welcome back. You're watching Cancer Diaries. Bridget was diagnosed with urethral cancer, a diagnosis that shocked not only her, but her family and her friends. The next leg of her journey was going to be long, hard, and painful.
It was an evening where we all cried. They really cried. We didn't know what to do.
So I remember the first time I learned that she had cancer was she had a gathering in this house. She didn't actually speak to me. One, I was shocked. But then again, being a counselor, you're taught not to say I understand, because you don't understand. And you can't put yourself in the shoes of somebody who's just learned. They have cancer at a very young age.
So I'm friends with Bridget since first year. We started school in 2015. And since then we've just been friends really. And one of our things is usually we come snack just before class. Class starts at 5:30. And so one of these days we're just hanging out and she goes like, my results haziku come poa. And I'm like, okay, well, so what do you mean? It's cancer. And I was just, wow. It was because she was acting strong. And I think that was the hardest part of this journey, just acting strong. And it had been like that for quite some time.
At that time, I didn't even share it with my family members. The only person who knew the story was my sister. And I told my sister not to share it to disclose it to my mother or my brothers and sisters, because I didn't know how it's going to affect them.
Urethral cancer is an extremely rare tumor that occurs when malignant cells grow in the urethra's tissue. There are 3 types of urethral carcinomas. Squamous cell carcinoma forms in the cells lining the urethra inside men's penises and near the bladder in women. It is the most common urethral cancer. Transitional cell carcinoma forms in the cells in the urethra near its opening in women and in the area of the urethra surrounded by the prostate in men. Adenocarcinoma forms in both men and women in the glands that are around the urethra.
When we went back now to take the reports now from Mater Hospital, I asked the technician there, please read for me these reports again, because I thought it was a misdiagnosis. There's something maybe that was not right. And when he read the reports again and told me it's true, it is cancer. But what I advise you, Bridget, please, don't seek treatment here in Kenya. Just if you can afford to go to India, the better. Or if you can afford to go to South Africa, please go to South Africa or India. So I asked him, now I don't know how will I go about it? I don't know anybody in India. I don't know anybody to lead me to India.
After consultations, Bridget decided to seek treatment in India.
So now I'm planning to go to India, but I have not even communicated to my parents, to my mother, my siblings. They don't know what I'm going through. My mother was devastated also, and she didn't know what to say. She was so quiet, and my brother said, and now we are even planning to go to India. And my mother was like, why don't we just pray and then everything is going to be okay? And my brother said, yes, we can pray, but at the same time, we need also to seek medication.
When one's employer, family, and friends come together, anything is possible.
So one of my colleagues decided, I'm going to share this story out with the HR, and the rest, all other colleagues, they must know what is happening. And at first, I was not happy with that decision, and I told him no, but she went ahead and called the HR.
Then later on, that's when they formed the group for donations and all that. I joined the group, and I can tell you the number of people who joined that WhatsApp. In fact, they were deleting others after contribution to add others, because the list was quite long. I have never seen people coming to help a friend that much.
Accompanied by her sister, Bridget left for BLK Hospital in India. But why India?
So why I decided to go to India is because my doctor said that they wanted to remove my organs. I refused my organs to be removed. And that's why I decided, no, let me just go to India so that I can seek another opinion there. When I went to India, when I went to BLK, the story was still the same. Because when we arrived there, we did for a period of 1 week, you just do test after test. After that, now they said, yeah, they confirmed, they really confirmed, because even when I was going to India, I thought maybe there was a mistake here. So I said, let me just go to India, because India, we will know the truth, whether it's cancer or not. And we were really praying that God help us. Let it be negative, let it not be positive. But when we went to India after doing now the test, it was confirmed. We went even with our biopsies, and it was confirmed that it was cancer of the urethra, stage 3. But here in Kenya, they thought it was in earlier stages. But in India, we realized it was in advanced stage, where it was started. It started from urethra, it spread to the bladder and other the vagina. So Now the doctor, when we went to see the surgical oncologist, he said, now what we are going to do is first of all to remove the organs and then do chemotherapy. And we told the doctor, no, that's why we are in India. That was the same treatment plan we were given in Kenya, and that's why we decided to come to India, because we didn't want my organs to be removed. But he told me, young lady, there's nothing else we can do. That is a standard treatment for that kind of cancer and that stage of cancer.
Bridget's hopes of keeping her organs intact were fading fast, but she was not giving up. She went to 4 different hospitals with the same result. Her organs had to be surgically removed.
One doctor shared with me something there in Scottish, Fortis Scottish. He said, maybe we can try chemotherapy and radio, but that one I don't guarantee it's going to be 100%. It's just going to be a 50, between 50 and 70%. It's not going to be 100%. We decided this 50 and 70%, we are going to settle for this. The remaining 30%, God is going to complete it.
Bridget stood her ground. She insisted on chemotherapy and radiotherapy. She refused to have any surgery performed. Her faith would see her through. And so, her treatment began.
When I went back to the room, I told God, please God, do not put me to shame. I've trusted you, God. I've told them about the 30% that you are going to complete it. Don't put me to shame.
Bridget underwent 6 sessions of chemotherapy for 6 months. All was well, and then the side effects kicked in.
When we started our chemo, at first everything was okay. Now the 3rd session now is when now I started feeling a lot of pain I had a lot of pain in my back, in my abdomen. I had a lot of constipation. My face was swollen. I had a lot of pain in my veins, pain all over the body. Sometimes I diarrhea, sometimes constipation. I had a lot of side effects.
Bridget completed the chemo sessions and was now ready for the radiotherapy treatment.
Now we are going to do radiotherapy, but we have to put a catheter. The catheter now, because where the cancer was between the urethra, the bladder, and the vagina. If they do radiotherapy straight without putting a catheter, it will cause something called stricture. The bladder will narrowing the bladder, so I will never be able to pass urine again. So they decided we are going to put this catheter, and you will stay with catheter for 12 weeks. You can imagine staying with catheter for 12 weeks. So I started even crying before even they put that catheter.
Bridget's radiotherapy was an experience that she would rather soon forget. An experience that she prayed she would never, ever have to go through again.
I told my friend, this is what I'm going through, and from Monday, this is what they are going to put a catheter, so I will not be able to walk, I will not be able to do ABCD. And they really prayed for me that night. They cried with me, they prayed with me, and they told me not to be afraid. God is going to be with me.
She's there and she's calling all of us on the phone. Where are you, Kujeni? Should you what? Whether you're in the hospital or whether you are looking for your market, food stuff and so forth, Bridget would make sure that by the time Pastor Shalom comes, we are all there to share the word.
I could tell that she was in pain. So by the time she was breaking down in India, I was also breaking down here. And I just even didn't continue with class, just went to the chapel. I just cried and just prayed like, hey God, just give this girl strength.
So we went back to the hospital on Monday, and they put that catheter. I was passing blood. Blood was coming from both openings, from the vagina and the back. The blood was coming. At first the pus was coming. After pus, now the blood started coming out. Every day I used to bleed every day for 12 weeks. I was bleeding, and I was in a lot of pain until it reaches a point I was telling God, I just want to die. I was pleading with the doctor to remove the catheter because the infection was because of the catheter. And the doctor told me that, Bridget, we are not even going to discuss about this catheter, because when I remove this catheter, it means that you will never pass urine again. So you have to persevere with this catheter. I was not walking, I was just laying in the bed. I developed bed sores. I had constipation. So even going to the toilet itself was a miracle to me. I used to scream when going to the toilet because of the pain that I was going through because of the constipation.
Bridget was ready to give up the fight. She called out to her God, who now seemed so far away. Life was slowly draining away from her body, and there was nothing she could do about it. Bridget's story continues next week. This has been Cancer Diaries. I'm Yvonne Kalahi. Good night.
I was not able to control urine.
Memories of our lives and our deeds will continue in others. Rosa Parks. Call us, talk to us, share your story.